Welcome everybody to the At Home with James show. Please welcome the one, the only, the host with the most, James McSteve.
It is Thursday, July the 7th, 2022. I am James McSteve. You are you, and we are here for the first ever lunchtime edition of the At Home Internet program. Now, if you're new to this show, or perhaps if you are a returning viewer, which I hope that you are, sincerely from the bottom of my itsy-bitsy heart, you might remember that we have done shows on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday morning. We've even done supper time editions. We've done early morning editions. This is the first and possibly only lunchtime episode of this show. Now, one thing that I want to acknowledge is the introduction that I got off of the top of the show. As mentioned to the possible new viewers, my name is not James McSteve. You can just call me James. And as it pertains to names, I was looking through the doc of people watching this show. So a special shout out to the following viewers, of which I am not familiar with. And those people are, quote, Bearded Strummer Waiting Room, Broke My Stream Deck, Comet Tombs, Danking Around, which might be sexual, I don't know. Dr. Drew Work, which might be the sex therapist. Dukin Rex, Eat Sow, Elbret Tweets, then the series of letters that I don't want to read out. Then we've got Frid's Kitten, Hades Osiris, I Can't Control It, which might also be sexual, Lizzie Beth. There's also Nerdy Dreams, also salacious, and a variety of other people, including Styx FFXIV. Now, I don't know if these people are real viewers. I don't know if they're bots. But what I do know is this might turn into the most viewed episode in At Home history. And if it does turn into the most viewed episode, boy, are you in for a treat, because this is part 6 of a Radio Shack retrospective where we, when I say we, I mean the people who participate in this show, have been going through a true torturous journey of watching a 2-hour compilation of Radio Shack commercials that span from the 1970s into the 2010s. So the question is, James, when are we going to get to the commercials? In just a moment is the answer. But before we do that, let's welcome today's guest. We've got, as always, the Garth to my Wayne. It's Dave Kaufman, as well as legendary participant on the show. It's Taylor McMillan. Guys, how are we feeling this afternoon? And when I say this afternoon, that is isolated to only Dave and myself. Taylor, it is currently 9:35 a.m. for you. Taylor, welcome back to tonight's program.
Thanks so much for having me. It's very early.
Yeah, you've still got morning voice.
Yep.
Now, did you do your hair for this show?
No, I woke up like this, in the famous words of Beyonce Knowles.
All right. Well, in the famous words of James McGee, Dave, you did not wake up the way that you did. You're looking a little moist because, from what I understand, you took a shower before today's episode.
I did.
You want to keep talking there a little bit, Dave? I think your audio is a little wonky.
Is it wonky?
Oh, it's very, I don't even know if your mic is plugged in. You sound faint.
Let's
oh, your audio levels have risen, much like Jesus on Easter.
Okay, let's try it again. Maybe it could just be in this internal Zoom call. Hold on.
Right now, you sound very crispy and clean, so I'm sure some of our viewers will let us know if your audio is on the fritz.
Okay.
Dave, we got together less than 12 hours ago. No, it's a little bit more than 12 hours ago now, less than 24 hours, as we had the 5th installment of the Radio Shack retrospective. How much time did we get through on that video, and where are we at?
We are the official timestamp. We got through roughly 10 minutes of the video, and we are at 1 hour and 8 seconds out of 2 hours and 5 minutes of the Radio Shack commercial compilation.
So we have been averaging about 10 minutes per episode.
Can I just say something before we get into the nitty-gritty of where we are and where we're going? Both of you look fantastic. The lighting, daytime lighting, suits you both very well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a basement right now, so there's no natural light. You are in what we call a very small window in the Dave cave.
2 windows.
All right. That's what you wanted to say?
About you guys looking fantastic?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Taylor, I'm curious to know, have you dropped in to witness any of the Radio Shack retrospectives? Oftentimes you are lurking in the chat.
Yeah, I think I've popped in to see if you were watching Radio Shack commercials, and when I confirmed that yes, indeed you were, I ceased lurking and left.
Yeah, now why is that?
No
spoilers. That's probably why.
Dave, thank you so much. You took the words right out of my mouth.
No.
So it sounds like it's not for you.
Listen, I didn't say that. I just no spoilers, as Dave said.
All right. Well, I want to get into things a little bit as we've been doing. Taylor, do you have any memories of shopping at Radio Shack?
I think I had to go to like the next town over because we didn't have very much in the town that I lived in. So very vaguely, yes.
Yeah, because you grew up in small town British Columbia.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Do you remember if you made a purchase or if your parents made a purchase at the Radio Shack one town over?
No, I think we would probably just go and like, I have a vague memory of maybe looking at, remember that like robot dog that existed?
Now, was this the kind of like a dog that moves on its own, or are we talking about the plush toy that has a radio in its stomach, which we found out about in episode 1?
Oh, wow. No, I think this one was just a dog. Like it was like all hard plastic. Mm-hmm. And
is that the one that can do a backflip?
I don't remember if it could do a backflip, but I just remember it was like a very sought after toy because it was like a real dog, but that was a
I do remember those toys. I don't know if they were specific to Radio Shack, but now here's the thing. That sounds like maybe a 90s item. And Dave, what we found out last night is that we have really burst into the 90s edition of the commercials, which I'm a little concerned about because I don't think that they carry the same charm as the ones from the 70s and the 80s.
So far, it's a different vibe. I think we saw one commercial from the 2010s, which I very much didn't like.
Yeah, it was too fast of a switch.
And too furious of content.
It was the Vin Diesel of commercials, and as well as Paul Walker, rest in power.
Yeah.
Okay.
He died?
So this is breaking news right now. Paul Walker no longer with us. More on this story on Monday's episode.
James, I want to say something before we continue.
Yeah.
Now, over the course of these Radio Shack episodes, I've critiqued you a little bit. You know, it's not. It's meant to be a constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. I've commented that you're being a little bit too hosty. Sometimes we'll be having a sort of more fun conversation. You'll interject like a host when we're all friends. Mm-hmm. So far, the host level's been pretty high this episode. So you might want to just roll it back a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, the funny thing about this is I think that you've given me a host complex on this show where everything that I'm doing is involuntary. But I think the fact is I've dropped in on some Twitch streams and YouTube streams, and I think sometimes when it's too casual, I dislike it.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay, that's fair enough.
Because I think for new viewers, they might want to say, well, who's in charge of this? It's just a bunch of people stroking off on the internet, making themselves laugh here.
Well, I mean, isn't that what it is?
Well, I like to run a tight ship, but your critique is duly noted. Taylor, do you have any opinion on this?
No.
Thank you.
I don't want you to fight anymore. I want you guys to love each other.
All right. Well, I do love Dave, but it sounds like he doesn't love me.
I love James.
All right. Well,
I only say these things because I love you.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll be sure to keep my criticisms ready to drop them on you.
Thank you.
Now, coming in from the chat, this is not a Radio Shack retrospective comment. We've got from J Voorhees 88. Taylor is beautiful. Don't tell my wife I said that. Follows up with, actually, I don't care if you do. Tell her I don't care. What's she going to do?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Jay Voorhees coming in hot.
I mean, she might leave you.
Maybe
well, let's find out. Jason, let us know if your wife might leave you for complimenting women on the internet. Now, if we're doing a compliments meter, Taylor is up to 2. I'm still at 1. Dave is at 0.
Yeah, and let's try to keep it that way.
All right. Well, Dave, you and I were talking off air that we're a little concerned about how long this is taking and also the quality of the commercials. So you yesterday came up with something a little bit fun to reinvent the Radio Shack retrospectives. And we have put together for the first time ever, an at-home Big O card, not to be confused with the at-home bingo card that, Taylor, you were the curator of, that people had a lot of fun with. Now, people might be watching, wait, did you say the at-home bingo card? No, we said the at-home Big O card, because this features 4 panels and not the traditional 5 panels in a bingo card. So it's up on the screen right now, and we're going to go through these. So right now, this is a retrospective on each one of these panels. What you can notice is that there are 4 free spaces. Now, Taylor, this is for your benefit as well as first-time viewers to go through what some of these items mean. These are what we have noticed to be sort of traditional things that pop up in these commercials. Dave, do you want to go through them?
Yeah, sure. These are traditional things, common themes, if you will. Narrative elements that have been threaded through all of these different commercials. So we start off with, of course, the free square. Everyone loves a free square. Then we have, does this commercial feature a creepy old guy?
Which I took umbrage with, because I don't think there's been any creepy old guys.
Well, it might be a tough square to fill then. Does it feature a robot? Is there a CanCon in this commercial? Is there a lovely lady in this commercial? Of course, another free square. Is there a smooth voiceover by a commercial voiceover artist? Does this commercial feature a jingle? Is it an Xmas commercial? Is there a hot dad? Now, by hot, we can mean either on fire or sexy. Free, of course, and again, is there a celeb? A celeb is short for celebrity, which is another way of saying famous person. Is this commercial in French? Is there
which is not included in the CanCon? Those are 2 distinctions.
So, of course, on this show, At Home with James, we are separatists, so we don't include the microcosm of Quebec inside the greater CanCon universe.
Yeah, this is Quebec as a nation in the at-home world.
Yes. Does it have an RC car? TRS, which might be the most confusing of the squares, stands for Tandy Radio Shack, but is short for a TRS computer, of which we've seen numerous of over the course of the
in retrospect, when I designed this, I guess I could have written TRS CPU. That would have fit nicely on top of each other.
That's true, but I think with the combination of TRS words and my little explanation, I think the viewer might get it.
I agree.
And then we end, of course, on a free square. Now, for each commercial, we will be seeing if we can achieve a Big O.
And of course, the Big O is not to be confused with a bingo.
And also not to be confused with the stadium in Montreal, the Big O.
Yes.
Oh, and also not to be confused with Big O, like, the sexy time Big O.
What's that?
Yeah, what is
Big
that?
O?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks that neither of you know what that is.
Oh, right.
I'm still confused.
I think she's implying that it's an orgasm.
Well, coming in from the chat, courtesy of Jay Voorhees, he writes, "That's the best Big O."
Of course, orgasms are a myth.
All right, well, I think it's time...
not to be confused if you have a heftier friend named Oliver, and you refer to him as, hey, Big O. It's not to be confused with
Now, that's what I thought you were referring to off the top.
It's not that,
Big
James.
O.
This is a game that we're playing for each Radio Shack commercial.
And now coming in from the chat, I can't read this one because this one's a little salacious. So, Dave, if you want to take over this one.
Sure. That's the best Big O. I like Taylor even more now. That's from Jay Voorhees.
Yeah, followed by
Naive Adventure saying, yes, the biggest O, ho and hose.
So things are getting nasty this afternoon.
A little afternoon delight.
Yeah. Oh, easy now. We're going to bring all of this fun to a screeching halt as we begin the 6th installment of the Radio Shack Retrospective. Taylor, are you ready for this?
As ready as I'm ever going to be. Let's do it.
All right. Let's get into it. This looks very 90s-like.
0% interest, 24 months, $49 a month only at Radio Shack. Installation. Jacks and plugs of connecting cords are color-coded as follows.
Now,
Red
I'd
jacks and
also
plugs for
like
right channel.
to
I'm pausing it.
point out that I don't think the audio is being shared on our end.
No, it should be.
Well, I hear nothing.
You hear nothing? You both hear nothing?
No.
I'll also state that I did not hear the theme song to the show either, which I was pleading with you with.
Oh, interesting. It says I'm sharing audio. Okay, hold on. Let's What happened there?
We can hear the audio coming off of your end out of your speakers.
My speakers?
Yes.
I don't have speakers on. Hold on, let me see.
That might have been me.
Oh, so what we're hearing is the audio coming out of Taylor watching on Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, as we rectify this, Jay Voorhees writes, James, your beard is immaculate today, which brings me to 2 compliments, tying Taylor for 2 compliments, leaving Dave at 0 compliments.
All right, I'm going to try to... No one's complimented my wet hair.
Well, I remarked on it, but you're right. I did not compliment it.
Hold on, can you hear this?
Audio signals, white jacks and plugs for
Yes.
left channel of audio signals.
Interesting. It said I was sharing the audio, but then I closed it and I restarted it. But now we're good.
Here we go.
Let's sorry guys. I'm all over the place now.
Look, here's the thing. We're doing things a little different today. It's the afternoon. We're currently about 20 minutes into this episode. We have not watched one commercial.
Jay Voorhees says, fire this guy. Jay, I don't appreciate that. That's not a compliment.
Yeah. So Dave is now at -0.
So?
Let's start the commercials.
I think Jay's gunning for your spot, Dave.
Installation. Jacks and plugs of connecting cords are color-coded as follows. Red jacks and plugs for right channel of audio signals, white jacks and plugs for left channel of audio signals, yellow jacks and plugs for video signals. To connect CD player, run white and red jacks from CD player to tuner. Follow same basic procedure when connecting DAT and tape deck. This covers your basic hookup, and except for AM/FM antenna, front speakers, rear speakers, impedance selector, AC power outlet, auxiliary power, and the remote commander, you should be all set. Any questions?
Radio Shack has 6,500 locations where you can find simple answers to all kinds of complicated questions.
Programming.
Okay, so that's interesting because I don't think outside of the 3 spaces we can tick anything off of that commercial. And I will say that the voiceover at the end was one of the more, I'd say, modern commercials. It sounded like a VO I might do.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it VO smooth.
No, that was not. It was not smooth. It was more. Yeah, again, modern.
Yeah.
It's pretty punchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad commercial. Let's move on.
I'll tell you what, I didn't mind that one. It's straight to the point. Let's move on, though.
To initiate on-screen programming, 4 options will appear. First, clock. To set clock, use Greenwich Mean Time. Set second, minute, hour, AM, PM, day, week, month. Press time key. Second option, daily program. Enter beginning and ending time of selected program. Enter channel. Third option, weekly program. Same procedure applies. Fourth option, program review. To actually record, refer to section K9, page 67, paragraph 12, bottom left corner, entitled It Even Records. Any questions?
For over 70 years, Radio Shack has been finding simple answers to all kinds of complicated questions. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself doing that voiceover at the end.
I think that was the same commercial.
Well, it's the same style of commercial where it's like, we're going to explain everything in a really complicated way. It feels pretty self-referential, and I like it.
But I don't even think that... Here's my thing. I think that it's literally the same commercial, and it's split up into 2 sections. Because in the first one, they didn't even hit the Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
No, I think that they did.
Did they?
Taylor, what do you think?
Yeah, they definitely did.
All right.
Yeah, this probably is a series of they probably put a bundle of commercials together with things being overly complicated, and then they come in with that cool guy, Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Sorry, guys, I must be off my game. I've been antagonized by Jay Voorhees, and I'm feeling pretty down.
Which has happened, right? Also, the real Andrew Mackay has been known to give you the gears, as they might say in Saskatchewan, and now you're getting them from Jay Voorhees, and he says, get used to it.
I'm being bullied in the chat. I can give him the ban hammer if I wanted to, but I'm the bigger guy.
I veto that. I veto the ban hammer.
Well, kind of doesn't matter because I have control.
So do I, though.
Right. So I could ban him and you could unban him.
Yes, and we don't want that. Now, Taylor, what do you think about these 2 commercials? I like them.
I mean, it's pretty interesting because I think as soon as they started getting into the fast cadence of them talking about the problem, I instantly tuned out. And as a consumer, I would be like, this sounds way too complicated. I'm not gonna go to Radio Shack.
What about at the end, though, with the cool guy voice? You've got questions. We've got answers.
I'd just be like, it's fine. I'll just read a book.
Wow. Okay, so there's the first review. I'd rather read a book than go to Radio Shack, and maybe that's why they're not currently in business. Again, we can't tick anything off of the Big O card.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next commercial.
We're making good time.
Output of unit XLT 735B is preset to VHF channel 3 prior to shipment. Wait, the RF converter output of unit XLT 735B is preset to VHF channel 3 prior to shipment. The RF converter output of unit XLT 735B is preset to VHF channel 3 prior to shipment.
Any questions? Radio Shack has over 25,000 people with simple answers to complicated questions. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
So we've seen another one. What did we think of the first guy kind of bumbling his way through the instruction manual?
He sounded like he was drinking, kind of like he had
a slurred speech.
He started sober and then he took a couple of sips of wine or whatever.
Maybe that's why he was having a hard time setting up his new VCR as he was plastered.
Yeah.
Taylor, you ever get drunk and set anything up like that?
No, I probably just would read a book instead.
All right.
I'm so curious now because they're making it sound like they have all these like experts working at Radio Shack who can help you figure this shit out. And like, as far as I know, working retail, it's just a bunch of like high school students on minimum wage. So like, is some like high school kid gonna be able to come in and like help you read this manual or whatever the hell?
I think what it is this is like the precursor to the Geek Squad or the Genius Bar at Apple. They kind of had like a, at those stores you have like your entry level employee, and then you have sort of the guy who's been around a little bit longer and maybe he's a bit more of a nerd, and they got put behind a Geek Squad counter, and then they drive around in those little I guess they're blue shirts.
Interesting.
Like a squad. A Geek Squad.
Go to the next commercial.
It's always something. And lots of times, someone you love is right in the middle of it. What they need is a cellular phone from Radio Shack. We have the latest types, the people to answer your questions, and sign you up right on the spot. It's easy, and it shows you care, because who knows what they'll run into out there.
Mike, we're gonna be a little late.
Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Now, does this count as a Christmas commercial, and was that a robot at the end? Was that some type of robot creature?
No, I think that was like a Japanese
lizard?
Yeah, like
I think the father was watching movies instead of spending time with his family.
Well, hold on. Let's check in to see if Japanese lizard is on the... No. We can't check off Japanese lizard. It's not on there. Is that a Christmas commercial? There was a ribbon.
I say that it does qualify as a Christmas commercial. It was a red and green ribbon, which
and there was a jingle jangle in the back.
And the jingle jangle, yeah.
And they had like a car in the snow. It was all very like, if not totally obvious, it was definitely implying that.
Not a hot dad though, more of a dorky nerd dad.
Not a hot dad. Was that lady lovely?
I think we better watch it again. Now, coming in from the chat, Naive Adventures writes that it's a smooth VO. She says it's a hot mom now. That's not on the card. It's a lovely lady.
It's always something. And lots of times, someone you love is right in the middle of it. What they need is a cellular phone from Radio Shack. We have the latest types, the people to answer your questions, and sign you up right on the spot. It's easy, and it shows you care, because who knows what they'll run into out there.
Is that lady lovely?
Mike,
No.
we're gonna be a little late.
Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
I'm going to say that it bounced around too much. There wasn't enough focus on one lady, so we can't say that she was lovely enough because we didn't get to know her like in past commercials. And I will also disagree. I did not think that was a smooth voiceover in what we have come to know and appreciate about the commercials.
I agree.
I think that they were in a drive-in movie. Do you know what I mean? Like they were sitting
Yeah.
in the car, and then the like weird lizard turtle thing came, and the woman was on the cell phone for what reason? Who knows?
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that commercial. I think it could have been more festive, but we can officially tick off Xmas.
Well, we got to do it for each commercial. It's an individual commercial that has to hit bingo, not as a show.
Oh, even more interesting. Okay, so up to this point, but this is the first thing that we could have checked off then.
Yeah, let's
Got
continue.
it. All right.
When you want to expand your horizons, consider the extraordinary Tandy 1000 SL MS-DOS compatible from Radio Shack. The Tandy 1000 SL leads the way with such exciting features as enhanced sound and speech capabilities and much more. The new Tandy 1000 SL lives up to your sky-high expectations. On sale from just $14.99, including monochrome monitor. Only at Radio Shack and Tandy Computer Centers.
Okay, so we've seen a Tandy Radio Shack computer commercial. So Taylor, this is what the TRS means.
Mm.
That was trippy.
Yeah, I really like that one. I like the very much the. I think this one may have veered back into the late '80s.
I think so too. Now we don't know necessarily if that guy was a dad, but was he hot?
I thought he was good looking.
We should go to the show resident hot guy expert. James.
Who's that? You?
We'll make it Taylor. Taylor, you could be the hot guy expert.
I think he was hot. Yeah, he had nice blue eyes. Like he had clear skin, good hair.
Do you think he was a dad?
I mean, most likely, I think he was. He was probably like
we don't
25,
know.
And people in the '80s had babies by that time.
But look, it just can't count because there were no kids in the commercial.
You're right.
And if anything, if we're looking at the Big O card, the only way this one would have worked is if it would have also featured an RC car and if it was French, which doesn't count. Now we could make the argument that it was a smooth voiceover, but there was no robot.
That's true.
That's the only way that it would have been a Big O.
That's true. That's true.
Also coming in from the chat from Jay Voorhees, why am I such a jerk today? I don't know. I'm sorry. So Dave, it sounds like there might be some hope for you two after all.
It's okay,
and
Jay.
Also, and Jason has been on this program before. He's famously known for wanting to humiliate publicly Danny DeVito.
Right. It's okay, Jay. I forgive you.
I like this commercial because it reminded me of the bygone era of the 80s ads.
I agree, and it reminded me of smoking pot.
Okay.
Because the guy was flying at his desk as he was working.
Which is a common side effect of smoking pot.
yeah, flying.
Yeah, you go on a psychedelic journey. Let's go to the next commercial.
Dis donc, Roger, ça a l'air que tu cherches un téléphone cellulaire, ça tombe bien, j'ai juste fait la ville du siècle. Regarde-moi ça, c'est Yetimité, ça vient du sud de Yemen, ça. Hein? Moi, t'arranger ça, moi, t'as commandé un par téléphone.
Chez Radio Shack, vous trouverez les comptoirs Cantel Express avec toute une gamme de services Cantel et de marques de qualité. En ce moment, obtenez un téléphone portatif Nokia 232 en vous abonnant au service Cantel Amigo.
Ah, Roger, as-tu vu mon nouveau portatif?
Radio Shack, vous avez des questions?
Hein?
Nous avons les réponses.
Ah.
So,
perfect voiceover.
Definitely French.
Now, had there been a kid in this and a hot dad, this could have been a Big O.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that guy was not a hot dad, in my opinion.
No.
And was he a creepy old guy? Probably not. Probably just annoying. An annoying middle-aged guy.
And also, that could not be a Big O because unfortunately the way this is set up, it can really only go up and down or diagonal, which is obviously traditional bingo, but this is Big O. There's not a lot of room for combinations here.
I know, but I'm still going through the ones that it does check off.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But that's the way I was doing it originally.
Okay.
Now, so this one is French.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. My wife's calling me.
All right. Well, we can continue here. So, Taylor, what did you think about again, you used to live in Montreal. You're a native of British Columbia. What did you think about the French in this commercial? Which again was, you don't even need to say anything. You just have to make noises.
I speak French, and I could not understand. I can understand the voiceover guy, but certainly not the neighbor guy.
Now, did you consider any of those guys hot? Could you imagine one of them pulling you aside in the club?
I don't think I can.
I can't imagine. I hear my neighbors in the hallway right now. What are they thinking right now? Now, Dave, what did your wife want?
She wanted to let me know that she was coming home from school.
Well, Dave, dating a teenager these days. Just been let off school.
She's doing her master's, and she has an intensive 1 month or 2 week class that she takes in the mornings.
I will say that we haven't touched on that. It's one of the chunky cell phone ads that we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Wait. Could either of you understand what that guy was saying?
Yeah, they were probably talking about cell phones. Now, coming in from the chat from Jason, he writes, Dave, tell your wife Taylor is gorgeous and see what she says.
Yeah, I'll do that. For the show, I'll do that.
Let's go to the next. Yeah, maybe we do. It's almost like an episode of Maury where, Dave, you tell your wife on the air about women that you find are gorgeous.
You know what? We can make a Big O card about her reactions.
Yep. And Jay Voorhees writes, do it now. Truly a legendary chatter, if not maybe number one. Let's go to the next commercial. We might get a Big O here.
How cute. Oh, let's get it for Mom.
No.
She always said she wanted one. Yeah, she could take it anywhere. They're very good protection.
Maybe.
This holiday season, get Mom a gift she'll adore. A cellular phone from Radio Shack. We'll answer all your questions and sign you up right on the spot. Activation's no problem either.
Look, Dad, it likes you.
Radio Shack. You've got questions. We've got answers.
Now get $50 of free airtime with your new cellular phone from Radio Shack.
Now, this would have been very close to a Big O because I would have said that was a smooth VO, but was he a hot dad? I think he was a little old.
I'm really sorry. Was anybody else uncomfortable with the way that his daughters were flirting with him to get their mom a cell phone? Is this like a Sodom and Gomorrah kind of story?
Okay, so this is the second night in a row where one of the guests has tried to make the commercials that weren't salacious a little salacious. Raquel did it last night. Dave, what do you think?
Is that literally like on his chest, like looking up at him like this?
Well, here's the thing. If Taylor's interpretation is correct, then that means by necessity that was a hot dad.
I want to point something out here that we've just been raided by Speedball Mike Bailey, who is a friend of mine from the world of wrestling. So people who were watching his stream are now watching our stream. For the uninformed, despite my physical appearance, I also partake in the world of pro wrestling. And you're about to see a vastly different show than what you were enjoying on Mike Bailey's stream, where he was probably answering questions, talking about pro wrestling. We're reviewing Radio Shack commercials from the 80s, 90s, and maybe the 70s. So I do have to say thank you to Speedball.
We're not even
Mike
on the
Bailey
air.
For that.
We weren't even on the screen. It was our bingo card on the screen.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, they don't even get to see us.
Now we're back.
An inopportune moment of a raid. So Speedball Mike Bailey, I thank you so much for the raid. This is very kind of you to shine your light of fame onto the little guys back in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Again, we're reviewing Radio Shack commercials here. Oh, and according to Mike Bailey, they were also reviewing Radio Shack commercials. So again, thank you so much for that. What this is now, Dave, when you brought up the idea of doing an afternoon show, I said, that's crazier than a dog riding a horse. And look at what it has brought to us.
Unbelievable.
New viewers, new friends, and hopefully people that will not think, why did I join? Why did I join this raid?
Well, I can guarantee you that they will think that, because this must be vastly different than what they were expecting.
Well, it's a very charitable donation from Mike Bailey. Thank you so much, my friend, and congratulations on your recent success.
Should we go to the next commercial? Oh,
let's go into the next commercial. Let's give people a blast of what they really came here to see.
Les ordinateurs, nous ne vendons que la crème des crèmes.
Regardez-moi ça si c'est beau. Ça, c'est le summum comme ordinateur.
Ben, tes fonctions, c'est que Il est vraiment super bon. Il y a des mémoires RAM, des mémoires ROM.
Ils sont toutes plus rapides et efficaces les unes que les autres.
On vous met en réseau, puis t'as le temps de dire vous surfez sur Internet. Hein?
Vous n'en pouvez plus des salades des vendeurs impression? Chez Radio Shack, notre personnel expérimenté répond à vos questions et vous aide à trouver ce dont vous avez besoin.
Ah!
Radio Shack, vous avez des questions?
Hein?
Nous avons les réponses.
Ah! Vous en prenez combien de vous?
So we've noticed a trend in the French Radio Shack commercials where they make groans of pleasure. Radio Shack.
Yeah.
2, there's a groan, then the slogan, then another groan.
I agree with that. There was some interesting symbology there in that commercial.
Symbology, great use of a word.
Well, they had sort of off-putting old guys. Would you call that creepy? Do those qualify as creepy old guys?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think the way that they were talking made it creepy.
Yeah.
It is French, it is CanCon, but there's no smooth VO and there's no hot dad. Coming from the chat, Quebec makes everything sexy.
I agree with that.
Taylor's left the show.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, back again.
But there was no robot, and technically it wasn't CanCon as we discussed because it was Quebec.
Now, coming in from the chat, this is probably a first-time viewer. The real tight spot. What are we buying from Radio Shack today since the guy in the blue shirt jumped back to the 1980s or whatever year that Radio Shack is? Well, they were looking at a variety of items. This is just a generalized Radio Shack commercial, and we knew that the items were satisfactory because it ended with,
I think he's talking about me. I'm the guy in the blue shirt, and I'm in front of an old Radio Shack.
Well, why don't, Dave, do you want to try the French Radio Shack moan?
Sure, yeah.
Oh! Oh, Dave, you nailed it. Taylor, you want to give it a try? Oh, very Quebecois. Yeah, there's the regular moan, there's the Quebecois moan. Let's go to the next commercial. We're still on the hunt for an elusive Big O.
At Radio Shack, we carry thousands of electronic parts and accessories. Accessories that make what you already own work better, sound better, play better.
Help! Help!
Just tell us what you need.
Help!
We've even got those hard-to-get items. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
I mean, I would say that it was a smooth VO.
Smooth
but
VO,
that's about
for
it.
Sure.
All right, yeah.
We don't know if that guy was a dad. No jingle.
We know that he was a doggy dad.
That's true. I really like how Radio Shack has sort of settled on the you've got questions, we've got answers. Now they're advertising that they are the source of information for every kind of technological gadget or gizmo that you can find.
Now, coming in from the chat, Naive Adventures asks, first black guy, incorrect.
Incorrect. In fact, we watched a...
moments ago, there was a family.
Yeah.
A family that may or may have not been sleeping with each other, according to Taylor.
Calls it like I see it.
Now, some people said that we were sick for doing this. And we just got a comment in the chat.
Some people said we were nuts.
Some people said that we were loco.
Yeah. But
in the chat right now, the concept of reviewing old Radio Shack commercials is what got me to follow you guys. The real tight spot, you win James's kiss of the show, which means you get a kiss.
For those of you just tuning in, every episode, James gives away a kiss to a lucky winner.
No one's cashed it in yet.
No. Should we go to the next commercial?
Let's go to the next commercial.
New IBM Aptiva at Radio Shack with 3D games, 3D internet, and home director. It's no ordinary computer. No ordinary computer can make your home look lived in. No ordinary computer is as thoughtful and so nice to come home to. And the IBM Aptiva with Home Director is only available at Radio Shack. It's no ordinary computer, and with special financing, it's no ordinary deal. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Now, this ticked off a couple things on the bingo card because there were Christmas lights. I thought it was a smooth voiceover. Now, is it a TRS commercial?
I'm going to say, for the sake of the Big O card, that all computer sold as advertised count as TRS commercials.
Got it. Okay, so the TRS is essentially a broader definition of the computers.
Yeah. What was interesting about that was that they had this was like an early smart home kind of thing, because I think its computer started as coffee machine, which I feel like you still don't have happen that often.
Yeah. Taylor, I want to quickly check in with you now. At the beginning of the episode, you said that when you were lurking as a viewer and you saw that we were reviewing commercials, you would then leave the player. You'd stop watching. What has it been like to now be on the other side of it, to watch the commercials and talk about them?
I mean, I'm really glad that I waited to watch some, because now I'm coming in fresh and it's great. I'm having a wonderful time.
Yeah, I am too. Dave, are you having a wonderful time?
It's all right.
It's just all right.
Wow.
Dave, so much has happened. It's a beautiful day. We're getting rated. Most of them have left.
I know what it is, James. He hasn't gotten a compliment and he's feeling left out.
Exactly. I haven't gotten a compliment. I have fresh, wet hair that people could easily compliment me on. I have bags under my eyes, which are stunning, and no one said anything.
Well, Dave, why don't you answer the question that's being asked in the chat? How does it feel to give the audience a big O?
It feels okay.
Also coming in from the chat, I love these episodes. I recommend reviewing 80s, 90s toy commercials. Now, we said to Raquel yesterday, the show is completely different.
Yeah.
As, you know, and frankly, I was going to say, as COVID begins to wind down, it is now flaring up in Quebec like a bad case of a STD, otherwise known as an STI.
Like herpes.
Well, sure. Yeah. I was going to go with, again, I wanted to do a universal term. You got specific with it. Mm-hmm. This is maybe the shot in the arm. The shot at, I don't think gonorrhea flares up. Let's get to the next commercial. Oh.
I feel like the bus is going into an accident.
Finding the right gift for your children this holiday season? Don't worry. Radio Shack has the gifts that'll grab your kids' attention. Radio Shack. You've got questions. We've got answers.
Okay, so first time we've seen an RC car in the Big O card today. I thought it was going to be festive as well. And I also wanted to point out in the previous commercial, there was a robot, but it was a digital robot on the computer screen, the Activia.
Whoa, wait. I have something to say.
Oh.
I've been marking our Bigo card, and we've got one on the bottom.
Okay, now this is the thing. Taylor and I were playing the same way, but Dave was isolating it. You could only get a Bigo based off of one commercial.
Oh, interesting.
I was playing the same way that Taylor was.
Well, that's the thing. We're guaranteed to check off all of these if we do that. Almost guaranteed.
Okay, but why don't we play both versions? So Taylor, you've got the first Big O card.
Yeah.
So you've filled in the bottom panel, which includes French, which was the RC car, which we previously saw. You like that, didn't you? We saw a TRS commercial and one of the free spaces.
Yeah.
Dave, what do you think?
I wasn't paying attention.
He's just really thinking about getting that compliment. Dave,
yeah, Dave is really hurt in this.
I'm rattled today. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm a bit rattled. We've got a lot going on. I got my wife calling me. I'm in the middle of a work day. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry.
If you continuously look for validation outside of yourself, you'll always be left wanting. You need to find it from within, Dave.
And maybe you might find that validation if you start playing Big O the way that Taylor and I are playing.
You know what? You guys are right. Tired of being a sad sack. Tired of being a piece of shit.
Well, I don't think talking down to yourself is going to help.
I'm saying I'm tired of it. I'm going to stop doing it. From now on, this is confident Dave.
Now, coming in from the chat, again, people love to pick on Dave in the chat. This is from a new viewer, The Real Tight Spot. Dave, you went back in time. Go to the mall's Arby's.
See, I think that's not picking on me. That's good advice.
It feels pointed telling you to go eat at Arby's.
What's wrong with Arby's? Arby's
Jay Voorhees writes,
hamburger.
Jay Voorhees writes, maybe dry your hair and start there.
It's air drying.
Let's go to the next commercial.
It's air drying.
This little celebration is brought to you by the people who've helped so many other people understand and enjoy cellular phones. Radio Shack, America's #1 retailer of cellular phones. Surprised? We're not. We're just happy. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Now, do those little walking cell phones count as robots?
I think so.
All right.
Well, hold on, Taylor. What would you have said? You seem skeptical that it does.
Well, I mean, like, I guess we have to define, like, are we thinking of robots as something that they're selling or just robots in general?
I think robots in general. There was one commercial a few episodes back where it was a bunch of robots singing, but they were more like the robots.
I don't know if they're robots.
I mean, they aren't physically real, so I would say probably not. But, you know, I feel like you need a win, Dave, so.
I don't need a win. I'm fine.
You can tell
the
us.
next ad.
We're friends. It's okay.
This is taking a turn. I was having a great time.
You really want a cellular phone, but you're afraid of the service plans, activation, the true cost. So you go back and forth. Don't do that. Come into Radio Shack. We'll patiently explain everything you need to know about going cellular. You'll see that not only are cellular phones nothing to be afraid of, they're actually quite friendly. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Sign up now for cellular service at Radio Shack and get free activation.
Now, I thought that was a smooth VO, and I got to say, that was a lovely lady.
You think so?
Okay. But
I know
hold on,
so.
though. So in this commercial, it was pretty clear they used a green screen with a man in or a woman in a cell phone costume. Was that?
Oh,
the
that's
same?
interesting. I did not pick up on that.
Is that true?
Yes, I think so. Because I was like looking at it, and it looked like too good of animation for what they probably were doing at that time. So was the previous commercial also a bunch of people in cell phone costumes?
No.
Because, like, what year was this from, you think?
This one, well, it says here that this cell phone plan is good through May 31st, 1997. So it's probably either early 97 or late 96.
Now, that's interesting. I would have given it earlier in the 90s, maybe the mid 90s.
That's true. I felt like that lady who you called lovely had sort of the Monica as a haircut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely thought she was lovely.
You know, I think then, if that's the case, if it was that late in the 90s, I do think that the previous commercial was a bunch of people in cell phone costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember how, like, in Ally McBeal, they had that dancing baby animation?
Oh,
and how bad it
everyone
was?
remembers the baby.
The baby, right? And, like, this was way better than the dancing baby.
That baby was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a cultural reset.
Yeah, and Vonda Shepard, she sung the song.
What was the song, Dave?
Yeah, Dave, how does that song go? You might want to grab your microphone for it.
Vonda Shepard?
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
Think about it? Well, it starts with it's a I've been searching my soul tonight.
Oh yeah.
Now, Dave, what are you doing to think about it?
I'm thinking. I'm like my mind.
Yeah. We can see the screen capture on the show. we can see that you're looking for the
I'm letting my mind process. I'm letting my mind process. Yes, that song "Searching My Soul," and the lyrics they go something like,
"That's what I just said."
I've been down this road walking the line, and so on.
All right, we better get to the next.
Find my way back home.
Yep. Let's get to the next commercial.
All right, I gotta set it up. Here we go.
Hey! Prime Star Satellite Television. That's right. 160 channels.
That's right, ma'am. 160 channels, specially grouped by category. Sports in one group.
Movies in another group.
Of course, there's a family group.
No, man. Other companies make you buy that. Card on the screen. We can't see the commercial.
Damn. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Oh, this is a beefcake.
I have a good feeling about this one. Hold on.
This could be a creepy dad.
Hold on.
Oh my god, that man is terrifying.
Here we go. Ready?
Aim.
Fire.
For cellular service at Radio Shack and get free activation.
Hey!
Prime Star Satellite Television. That's right. 160 channels.
That's right, ma'am. 160 channels, specially grouped by category. Sports in one group.
Movies in another group.
Of course, there's a family group. No, ma'am. Other companies make you buy the dish. With Prime Star,
There's no dish to buy.
Want to do something after our shift?
Thank you, but I've got other plans.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we got some celebrities in there.
Definitely got some celebrities. That first lady, she was in. Was she in the Ellen DeGeneres show? Or Ellen?
I think there were some fake celebrities, but there's also, I feel like the country guy could have been an actual country singer or something like that. And that guy at the end, like, got any plans for later?
So that was a creepy old guy. Definitely qualifies as creepy old guy. I think that was Charles Barkley.
No, that was not. I think it was a fake Chicago Bulls player.
Oh, it was a fake Chicago's Bull player?
I think so. Because I feel like there were some fake celebrities, but there was Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, real celebrity.
Was the lady lovely? I would say she was more sexy.
There was definitely a love. The first lady was lovely. I think she's lovely.
What?
I definitely recognize her, but maybe it's a celebrity imposter. I feel like she was in some early '90s sitcoms. That lady.
Play it again.
The third time.
Let's get this bingo card off here too. Let's see if we can spot any celebrities that maybe, because we did not notice Bill Bixby once we were going through the '70s ads.
Let's play it again.
Radio Shack and get free activation.
Hey!
Prime Star Satellite Television. That's right. 160 channels.
That's right, ma'am. 160 channels, specially grouped by category. Sports in one group.
Movies in another group.
Of course, there's a family group. No, ma'am. Other companies make you buy the dish. With Prime Star,
There's no dish to buy.
Want to do something after our shift?
Thank you, but I've got other plans.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
I recognize the guy at the end from somewhere.
Yeah.
The creepy guy. But does he count as old?
Yeah.
Taylor, what do you think about that guy? You want to do something after our shift?
Yeah, he's creepy for sure.
Now, I really like the beginning, the scream, hey!
That was the best part.
Yeah, that could have been Howard Dean.
Yeah.
Shaw! What did we think about that commercial?
I liked it. I like how it had a bit of like gay eye candy in there.
Yeah.
Now, can you expand on what you mean by that?
Yeah, like the guy with the like Mr. T haircut and the tank top, like that was like subtle queer baiting, I think.
See, I took that more as they were trying to make him look like a pro wrestler, which I suppose can work in both ways.
I think it works both ways. So would that guy qualify as like a bear?
No, because he wasn't hairy and he didn't have a beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the next commercial.
He was also 34 years old, clearly.
Wow, that guy looks entirely different than me at the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Tough luck, Teddy. Move over, Rover. Buzz off, Bubba. RC cars from Radio Shack. 24 hot models ready to test drive. Anything else is just a toy. Radio Shack. You got questions? We've got answers. Batteries not included.
Well, that was a Christmas commercial, not particularly festive. It was an RC commercial, not a smooth VO, but of all the commercials we've seen, this is the true departure from where we began, Dave.
I agree. This commercial probably rocked the hardest out of all the commercials we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it. I guess it's kind of like playing off maybe a Metallica coming up in popularity.
Yeah, this was maybe during the Load or Reload albums.
Yeah. And I liked how the toy just burst out of the box.
It ran over another toy.
Yeah, ran over a toy.
It was like, fuck you, Stuffy!
Murdering a toy. It was cool, man.
You thought it was cool, man?
Yeah, I thought it was freaking cool, man.
Dave, you're turning around here.
I'm telling you, you guys set me straight. mopey. I was down on myself. I had a bad attitude. I'm coming in fresh right now.
Well, Taylor, it seems like it inspired you. You just cursed a little bit.
I picked up on the subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
It was fuck stuffies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Any gay iconography in this one?
I mean, obviously, that, like, hot military guy with the bandana.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Do we have any hot military guys on the Big O? No, we don't. Can't tick that one off.
Too bad.
Let's go to the next commercial.
Love it.
Okay.
The most minimal commercial that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what... I guess it was for remote control, universal remote?
Yep. Which we've seen a couple of so far.
I don't think they took it far enough, because this poor schlep only had 2 remotes. I think they needed to amp up the number of the remotes to let us know how truly awesome having a universal remote.
Well, and we saw that yesterday in one of the more salacious commercials, and it was a guy fumbling around with his remotes, and he knocked over his tub of popcorn.
Did he only have 2 remotes?
This previous, as Taylor put it, schlub, I believe so.
Let's go back and take a look at that.
All right.
Yeah. No. I'm going to zoom... Oh, let's take off the Big O card. Let's zoom in. Here's the issue. Let me adjust. I got to adjust.
Now, before we get to it, coming in from the chat, Jay Voorhees, he's on his way out. I expect he's got to get back to work. He says, I have to get going. Enjoy the rest of the show, everyone, except for Dave. Bye, Taylor.
Bye, Jay. Talk to you later.
Let's zoom in here. This is my bad. If you ignore the YouTube, you can see...
He's got many remotes.
He's got many remotes.
Looks like... Does he have 2 in each hand?
He's got 1 in each hand, and then he's got 3. He's got 5 total remotes.
Yeah.
Okay. I stand corrected.
So, bad note.
Wow. This has been maybe the most contentious of panels so far.
I agree. It's this Jay Voorhees guy. He's putting me in my own head. Taylor, I'd like to formally apologize for saying bad note. I think you did your best with what information you have. It was really my fault because I didn't show the remotes on the screen.
Dave, you're keeping me accountable, and I can take constructive feedback.
Now, Dave, would you like to pledge anything right now?
Like allegiance to the flag?
No.
But no.
Maybe pledge to be better and acknowledge things?
I pledge to do better, and I pledge to acknowledge things. We're getting into the chat.
Yeah, we got some breaking news here. Dave, you want to take care of this one?
Actor. I mean, I need to verify it before I.
Yeah, we don't want to. We've got reports that actor James Caan has passed away.
I'm going to.
Who is that?
Well, he's been in a variety of things, nothing of which comes to mind right now.
Godfather. He was in The Godfather.
He was also, I believe, he was an Elf.
Yeah, he was an Elf.
Oh, is he the dad?
I'd like to confirm reports that James Caan, Godfather actor, also from Misery, has passed away at the ripe old age of 82. I'd like to take a moment of silence.
All right, let's get to the next commercial.
This one goes out to James Caan. Oh, it's the same one.
Bells will be ringing. Christmas.
Let it play.
Bells will be ringing throughout the year.
Bells will be ringing everywhere this Christmas, thanks to the special offers on mobile phones at Radio Shack.
Hello.
Merry Christmas, honey. Bet you a mobile phone from Radio Shack would make him smile. Who wouldn't want one?
Okay, so we we got, I think, a lovely lady, one or two in that one. It was a Christmas ad. Would that count as a jingle? Because I think that that was not an official Christmas song. I think it was a kind of a take on the Please Come Home for Christmas, because the lyrics are similar but not the same. This one just kept repeating, bells will be ringing.
Well, you know what? If it's not an official Christmas song, then I believe it, and it is a song written for this commercial, and it repeats a catchy phrase, then I believe that it does qualify as a jingle.
Yeah, kind of a knockoff. Now, coming into the chat from the Real Tight Spot, sorry about breaking the news. No, don't apologize. We like to keep people informed on the show, including ourselves.
Yeah. And I'm happy that we got a good commercial dedicated to the man, the legend, actor James Caan. Unfortunately, passed away at the age of 82. But
well, take a second, Dave. I can tell that, you've had an emotional day. Taylor, let's go to you. How did you feel? That was very, very funny and cheeky. They're all talking to each other on cell phones. Bells will be ringing.
Yeah, I mean, no notes on that one. It's fine.
Now, you've appeared on the show, and you mentioned a variety of times not a huge fan of Christmas. What would that Christmas morning, would that set like a morning like that, would that appeal to you?
Getting a new cell
ringing. Yeah, kind of everyone having fun around the tree.
Wasn't a cell phone.
Ringing.
It was a cordless phone.
Oh, it was a cordless phone? How could they be calling each other, though? I think they were cell phones.
Were they cell phones?
I think so.
I think it was a cell phone. Yeah, because he said in the voiceover, like, oh, cell phone, blah,
okay,
blah.
Then I'm wrong. My mistake. I was still wrapped up in the news.
No, I have a question. Is this a comprehensive collection of all the Radio Shack commercials?
Well, it's 2 hours worth more.
But I mean, that's over 3 decades. So
I don't know, but I'm not doing other ones.
Well, but let's think about this, right? Because they'll probably keep the same commercial in circulation for a period of time, right?
That's true. Yeah, it didn't go as fast maybe as it does these days.
But I think that's a big O, though, right?
Is that another big O?
I think that's an official big O. We got a lovely lady. We got a free square. We got a smooth voiceover. I think that voiceover was smooth. And we got a jingle.
So what is missing thus far, Taylor?
So you're completely right, Dave. Number one, in the way that you're playing the game, for sure. We're missing Hot Dad, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Robot and CanCon.
Well, we saw one guy that we assumed could have been a dad in that the computer commercial, but he had no kids, so we can't confirm it. But you know what? There's still plenty of time here.
And there was the dad whose kids were flirting with him, which kind of makes him a hot dad, but maybe not.
Yeah, well, they were hot to the kids.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next commercial. Bells will be ringing.
Betcha this will make her smile. A Nokia cellular phone from Radio Shack.
Hello.
Merry Christmas, honey.
And thanks to Radio Shack, she'll even get a $50 check for airtime.
So the condensed version of what we saw.
Condensed version, they only highlighted that sort of weird laugh, which was the most off-putting part of the original commercial.
The voiceover was a little bit creepy, too.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Get her something she wants.
It sounded like Liam Neeson to me, like, I have a particular set of skills, buying cell phones for Christmas.
That's a pretty good impersonation, but Dave, I want to hear your Liam Neeson. Grab that mic.
Sorry, he's...
Yep.
I got a particular set of skills!
Nailed it. So this was the condensed version. We don't make any headway on the big O card with this one, so let's go to the next one. I will say that getting $50 if you buy a cell phone is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hate machines.
Sorry, Rosie.
Why don't we go to the new Sprint store at Radio Shack, Joey?
Oh.
They have Sprint's easy-to-use product.
And the know-how of Radio Shack.
They even showed Astro how to use his mobile phone.
They could even help you, Mr. J.
Astro has a mobile phone?
Well, oh, Rhonda. The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Now, this is very interesting for a couple of reasons. The first of which, we got a robot. And this is the first crossover because they're promoting the Sprint stand in the Radio Shack. Up to this point, everything had been Radio Shack branded things. Now you can sign up for a membership with Sprint, which is a mobile device company.
Now, does George Jetson count as a hot dad?
I'm going to say no. I think he looks more like a loser.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider him hot.
What about Jane, his wife?
Jane is more of a lovely lady than George Jetson is a hot dad. I'm curious, who are the hottest cartoon dads? Not a lot of hot cartoon dads. They're usually schlubs, like a Homer Simpson, a Peter Griffin, a Bob Belcher,
Yeah, but what about Poseidon from The Little Mermaid? He was pretty hot.
I haven't seen it.
What about American Dad?
Yeah, he's hot.
He's a stud. Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah.
Is Ned Flanders hot?
Yeah.
Sexy
Sexy Flanders.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's ripped. Let's get to the next commercial as we begin to wind down
Wait.
this episode.
Okay, fine.
No, please, after you.
Okay, well, see, I'm just coming at this from an advertising standpoint. So do you think that there was like a revival of the Jetsons during this time and that's why they partnered? Or do you think they were trying to get people who had watched the Jetsons in their youth as like nostalgia factor to try to get them into...
Now, I could be wrong. Wasn't there a 90s Jetsons movie?
I think there probably was, but I think it's all maybe one and the same.
Because they also used Scooby-Doo.
They did. I think they're really trying to appeal to like a very specific demographic that maybe would have been like curmudgeonly about getting a cell phone. And so they tried to connect like futurism and like excitement and nostalgia with buying a cell phone.
I feel like a lot of cartoon characters appeared in commercials in the 90s, though. Dave, we'll go to you.
I'm going to introduce this idea, and that's the 90s is sort of when cable TV happened, and with that development of cable TV came things like the Cartoon Network that probably would make a resurgence of older cartoons happen, because you have a channel like the Cartoon Network dedicated to playing these kind of like older content. So probably there's like a mix of what you're talking about and the fact that people are now rewatching these things because they're on cable, and the fact that people are going to Radio Shack. It's just the perfect storm of the collab.
There was a toon boom.
Yeah.
Now, coming in from the chat from the Real Tight Spot, there was a Jetsons movie. It came out in 1990. I suspect this commercial is probably 97, 98.
Really? It might be. Yeah, you might be right. Cell phones, I feel like they weren't this advanced in the early 90s.
Yeah. Let's go to the next commercial.
Which is also a Jetsons one.
George, the Sprint store at Radio Shack was a great idea for holiday shopping. I could get a mobile phone for Judy, a pager for Elroy, and for you too, Astro. A decorator phone for Rosie.
Oh boy, I could be programming numbers and reading directions to the next millennium!
I can help with that. I am Sprint certified.
He can make sense out of anything.
Great! Wrap them up. We'll give them to your mother.
Wonderful.
The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Yeah, the wife is definitely lovely. This was a Christmas ad, and I'm wondering, because now I'm thinking about cartoon characters that appeared in a variety of things in the 90s. The Looney Tunes, I feel, were everywhere.
Yeah. Well, Space Jam, too.
Right. Never seen it.
You haven't seen Space Jam?
No, I didn't watch a lot of children's cartoon movies as a youth. I watched more of the live-action Disney movies.
Of course, you've seen the new Space Jam.
No.
With LeBron James?
Nope. Let's go to the next ad.
Ah, the great outdoors. If your favorite activities are the ones that take you away, here's how to stay close to the people lucky enough to be taken away with you.
The view is incredible. Great, I'll be right up there.
A pair of two-way personal radios from Radio Shack. Some even have optional headsets in case you need hands-free operation.
No, I'll be right down.
Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
It's very cool, very 90s commercial, and you can tell that they're, I think, siphoning down their products. Everything is about being on the go.
Yeah. We've entered the mobile age.
Yeah.
Did that guy throw himself to his death at the end of that one?
I think he was maybe like, what do they call that? Like base jumping?
Oh yeah, but he didn't launch his chute.
Yeah, but he has to fall for a bit first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe he didn't get the new radio item there and decided to end it.
Yeah, maybe this is what happens when you don't get the radio.
Yeah.
You kill yourself. Now, I'm wondering also if this was near the release of The Lion King, because in the background there was sort of spiritual, almost African music.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody notice that?
Well, that would have been what? Lion King came out when? 1994 or 96?
That's a good question.
I think it was 94.
Yeah.
Because I was in elementary school. Yeah.
We're getting the confirmation now. Breaking news. Lion King came out when?
You're asking me?
Yep.
1994.
Breaking news. The Lion King, the major motion picture, was released in 1994. We can confirm with the help from the Associated Press.
Wow.
Now, I think we've got time for one more commercial. Now, we have had a variety of episodes end on a Christmas commercial. This one looks like it's an ad for NBC Sports. So let's see what happens.
Now, it could just be that the recording...
the crossover.
Yeah, the crossover.
Hi, you got any of these? Ooh, will this leather case fit my cell phone? It's not from Radio Shack.
Yes, it will.
Perfect. What about a long life battery? A car adapter? A universal remote? Cordless computer mouse? An AC adapter for this? Wow, you got wireless speakers, dual headphones.
Whatever you've got, wherever you got it, Radio Shack's got over 10,000 accessories to help it work better.
Oh yeah. Got any connectors?
Parts, too.
Great.
Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Well, this guy's clearly rich if he's being able to buy all of that great merchandise from Radio Shack.
You know what that commercial reminded me of that I didn't remember existed for a long time? He had those kind of those headphones on where they go into your ear, the yellow headphones that go into your ear.
And they kind of like wrap around the back of your head?
Yeah, I used to have a set of those for my Walkman.
Now, Taylor, did you have a Walkman?
I did, yeah, I really did, yeah. And it was yellow, like his.
Yeah, mine
What
too.
were we listening to on our Walkman at that time?
I had a copy of Green Day Dookie that I would listen to.
Yeah. When I come around.
Yep.
I think I had a bunch of tapes from like Publishers Clearinghouse. You know that one where you'd be like, get 10 for 1 cent, and then you're locked into something for.
And what were you listening to though?
I think I had that TLC album.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Crazy,
the Oasis
Sexy,
album.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go
the
chasing
Oasis.
waterfalls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe Creep was on that album as well.
Maybe, I can't remember.
I think that's an earlier album.
I think it is. Yeah, I don't think it's on the same one.
Dave, let's check in. We're gonna get confirmation on what album the TLC song Creep appeared on. Was it on Crazy Sexy Cool? Now, as we begin to wind this episode down and we get confirmation, we do this show every Monday, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very special afternoon edition. Keep your eyes peeled on our Instagram account at Home with James. Not a lot gets posted except for promotional imagery. Dave, do we have confirmation coming in?
Not yet. For some reason, Bing couldn't come up with the answer.
Wait, hold on. You use Bing as your primary search engine?
Well, I didn't want to do it live. I have my Firefox on.
You don't want to pull a Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
You use Firefox. Interesting.
Oh, Firefox is a pretty reliable browser.
Yeah. So I launched my Microsoft Edge because that's the other browser I had, and they automatically use Bing. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it out. James, you might be correct, but you might not be either.
All right, well, we're going to find out what song or what album did the TLC song Creep appear on.
Crazy Sexy Cool. First song is Interlude. Second song is Creep.
Yep, I was correct.
And then Waterfalls is track 8.
Wow.
There's also
Once
an
again,
interlude called Sexy.
Apropos, coming in from the chat from the Real Tight Spot, this person met Chili at the Las Vegas airport.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So we have now come to our conclusion of the 6th installment of the Radio Shack Retrospective. Dave, you know, you and I were a little concerned going into this in terms of the quality of the commercials, and I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised.
I am surprised too, and I would also like to make the official announcement of the fact that we are 1 hour and 10 minutes, 34 seconds into this 2 hour and 5 minute video, which means we are officially more than halfway done our Radio Shack retrospective.
And how long did we do today? It felt like we made some pretty good progress.
We made it 10 minutes, over 10 minutes, 10 minutes and 30 seconds through this, 20 minutes and 40 seconds through this video.
All right, so that is the trending number of time. It usually takes about 10 minutes per episode.
Yeah.
So we're looking at how many more episodes if we prorate this, Dave?
6 more episodes.
6 more episodes. So again, depending on if we sprinkle in some surprise episodes throughout the week, such as we did on Wednesday, as well as this afternoon, it might take us, another month or possibly less, depending on surprise pop-up episodes. Taylor, how do you feel coming out of this episode? You have not been here since, if memory serves correct, last October, when your horrifying pumpkin won the at-home pumpkin carving contest. The pumpkin you carved that looked like it was having diarrhea.
That's the one with the prolapsed anus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Mm-hmm.
How does it, which people can find on our YouTube page, which is linked on our Twitch page. How does it feel to be back?
You know, it feels great. It's like putting on an old pair of boots.
Oh, okay.
Well, that feels great.
Yeah, it feels like comfortable and easy and maybe a little squishy.
All right, so the reviews are in. Being on this show after being away for a while is like putting on an old pair of boots. Any final thoughts before we call it an afternoon, folks?
Nope.
I have just one thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Dave, I think you did a really great job today.
You know what? Thank you for the compliment, but it was completely unnecessary because I got all the compliments I need right in here.
Dave, I'm really proud of you to find validation within yourself.
James, thank you for the compliment. Unnecessary.
All right.
Because I got all the compliments I need right in there.
A self-made man. Well, I'm going to carry on with my day before I watch the NHL entry draft tonight. Taylor, it's currently not even 11 o'clock where you're coming from, so you might be eating breakfast. And Dave, you got to go back to work.
Got to go back to work, yeah.
Well, if there was one way to summarize today's episode, I think I could summarize it in a very succinct manner by saying today's episode was oh. Guys, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night. Good afternoon. Goodbye. Farewell and be well. We'll see you on Monday.
Thanks for tuning in to At Home with James with your host, James McGee. Special guests, Dave Kaufman and Taylor Ray.